and number 12, Ben Robinson. Olympia starting line this afternoon. Number 11, Rachel Allen. 17, Ben Curtis. 3, Lucas Hill. 13, Bay Stewart. 5, Jonathan Maddox. 1, Kyle McDonald. 10, Joshua Lewinsky. 9, Jack Royal. 4, Jordan Scott. 8, Paul Stevens. And 2, Mark Ortman. Substitutions for Olympia today on number 12, Jacob Eamon. 6, Nicholas Moon. 21, Darby Randall. 15, Jake Johnson, and 16, Jake Vanderland. Two games open this afternoon, one beyond the main stand at the end of the ground, and one beyond the stand at the far end of the ground. Also, the weather area is open, so please support North Hobart Football Club this afternoon. Update from all too well, where the 7 o'clock social conference played is gone. Hobart Central 3, Southern FC 2. Congratulations, first silverware for the year.
Hobart Oval for round 4 NPL Tasmania action, the second of today's games in this double header between the Hobart Zebras and Olympia Warriors in the Super League. The Warriors rallied late to gain a 3-2 victory. It was a cracking game of football. It's a beautiful day here and we're expecting more of the same between these two teams. We need to call the action this afternoon is Paul Hunt and Jake Morgan. Good afternoon to you, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, Andrew calling, or welcome back. If you heard us in the Women's Super League game on before here, it's still a beautiful day here at North Hobart, but we're going to have a minute's silence in memory of Christchurch, which we'll observe now. Impeccably observed minute silence there before this NPL tussle between two of the traditional rivals here in the NPL TAS. And Jake, what are you expecting from this game?
It's going to be a very, very open game, I think, because they're two teams that love to attack. Don't you think, Paul Hunt?
I'd certainly agree with that. We've seen Jack Ryan of the Warriors get off to a good start here in the NPL TAS, the English import, whereas Zebras and Matthew Sanders, not very known quantity here in Tasmania, been banging in the goals last year and this year. Good to see Francis getting in on the customary handshakes as well. I'm all about the mascot getting a part of the formalities.
Very likely a bit of an intimidation factor there, having a man armed with a sword and shield in line. The handshakes there, just perhaps a bit of a threat coming in there from the Olympia Warriors to the Hobart Zebras.
Because the Giant Zebra is the question I'm making. Sorely lacking today. They've been smashed in the mascot stakes.
Yep.
And the early blow to the Warriors has been struck.
Yeah, they're
Francis, just into yourself in the technical area. I want to see what Tony Pierre's view on that is. It'll be an interesting one. We could have a real battle on our hands if Pierre and the Warrior start going at each other. Jeez, quite the sight. But really looking forward to this game. It's two of the title fancies, two of the heavyweights going at each other. Always cracking encounters between these two traditional rivals and the two captains, Matthew Sanders and Lucas Hill, who will be opposed to each other today. Going into the middle there, looks like we've got Mick and Ernie, Code and Monty Peace as the ARs, and Stratos Plomeritis, last year's referee of the season, officiating this big one here today. Lovely pictures there from the ground cam we've got, pulling out all the stops here for this game, and the team's doing their little warm-up rituals that they've developed.
Zebras one is very enthusiastic. We often saw Lucas Hill last year whipping out the exorbitant calf stretches, but Zebras are very much into it here in the pre-game. You may have noticed this was originally a 2:15 kickoff, pushed back to 2:30, and now probably going to be who knows when the game will actually kick off. We're not too far away here from the action, as we will have a look at the teams, put the teams out for you in a moment. Both teams having made a few changes, particularly the Warriors, but we'll go with the Zebras first. The Czech centre-back Jan Hrutza, Stone Cold Riley Dillon, Nicky Edwards, who'll play out on a wing. Henry Fagg hasn't played NPL for a little while, has Henry, but has plenty of experience. Jaden Hay, Jordan Muller, come up from his groin injury, which saw him substituted at South Hobart. Pace, Sanders, Walsh, Watman, Yonezawa decide to rush through it, as I think Stratos is ready to blow the whistle.
We can get the Warriors graphic over the top. I hope there's not a goal in the opening 10 seconds here as Stone Cold Riley Dillon brings that one down. That is the Warriors lineup today. Brayton Allen, Ben Curtis, a couple of youngsters in there. Lucas Hill, the Mountain, will play in defence. Bay Kurtz, the American fullback. Kyle McDonald in goals. John O'Ladich, who set the season alight with that wonderful opener in midfield. Joffrey Nkoso and Jack Ryan will be in attack. Jordan Scott's been really impressive in midfield so far. Then you've got Stevens And Mark the Business Ortman, who looks like he's lining up at left back early doors here, and maybe Kurtz playing slightly more advanced role. We'll wait and see how that develops. The subs Lehman and Randall Thompson is an early half chance there, buzzing him out there. Jaden Hay looking to get involved.
They're just looking a little bit too relaxed there at the back, playing the ball around the Warriors, but they're going to get things moving now. Looking up the wing here, Ryan with Henry Fagg there for company, who just knocks the ball out of the way.
Johnny Little, of course, out of this game for his red card against South Hobart. So in steps Henry Fagg, and for a little spell at Beachside, returns to the Zebras. A reliable contributor to them in the middle of their defence. Here's Joffrey and Koso back to the American Kurtz. Jono Ladich getting around Yamaza nicely. Scott, Kurtz. Jordan Muller was under some injury doubt to take his place, but a little bit of foxing going on there, I think. He's training on Thursday, and he's pulled up all right for this game as it's headed back in the Jack Ryan direction, coming over the top powerfully with Fagg. Scrap there, Matthew Pace looking to get involved, and the big checking machine, Horutza. They'll work it in the Sanders direction. Flicks on, and Hay playing, it's like a number 10 type role, just in behind him today. Scored the goal against South Hobart the other day, and he looks to spring in Matthew Pace here, but the Business will just clean that one up.
Yeah, tactical change made by the Olympia coach, Rob Clark. Mark Ortman inserting himself in the back line. Jake Vandermeer on the bench. We'd assume that is to counter the pace of Matthew Pace. Looks like a free kick has been awarded to the Zebras.
No, he certainly does have a little bit more speed than Jakey Vandermeer to perhaps go with the wide player.
Big ditch too for our centre-backs.
Yeah, definitely. There's going to be a lot more room here than in Warrior Park. Thumped forward. A little bit of a shout there for a Zebras penalty perhaps, but Schwartz are not getting too involved. Is he offside? Oh, and no flag going up there, so he certainly was, but perhaps looked like he might have been a stretch offside. Incredible chance there though, and well reacted from the Olympia goalkeeper.
George Marcus doing the match manager's vest today, just really inserting himself into the picture there. Is the Warriors press as McDonald helps this one along. And Fagg nodding away. Hey, Kurtz saw it left back, but playing right back today. And a number of positions back in North America. Very versatile footballer. Geordie Muller, playing the year in central midfield last season. Can't pick out Jaden Hay this time.
We'll have the import Kurtz to take the throw.
It'll be a good battle today between Kurtz and Stone Cold Riley Dillon up this side. Two American imports that aren't afraid to get stuck in. Certainly know that with Stone Cold Riley Dillon earning his nickname in the first game that he played by spear tackling Nick Morton. And the ball's played through here for the Warriors. There's a reasonable chance, played across, and the intervention coming in crucially from Henry Fagg to knock it behind there. Probably was covered by Stone Cold, but they did have, I think, Joffrey and Koso lurking.
Slight mix-up. Koso never getting to that one, as long as one of them did the business. Jordan Scotty's set-piece ability has really been eye-catching early, and they try to catch him off guard by taking it quickly, and Koso to the back post. Down and gathered by the impressive Samuel Watman, pulled off two massive saves, although he's made a mess of that, and there might be punished over the top from the mountain. Out of the keeper's hands there. Was it out of the box? Stratos, the decision here, but that's real potential to cause some chaos.
That is just an error.
Burton, and I think he has blown a free kick in the end, hasn't he? No. So good. Quite rightly would have stood if he got that target.
I don't think the Mountain was expecting that chance to fall to him there. It was one of the more weirder things you've seen from a keeper in a while.
I certainly think that few would expect the chance to fall to him there, and most people would expect the keeper to pump that to the halfway line, but a bit shaky here from the New Zebras goalkeeper.
He's bumping his tyres up after a great showing at Darcy Street the other day. Made two massive first half saves that really big moments in the match. Kiwi, still a young goalkeeper. Sammy Watman as Jordan Muller has it in to Riley Dillon. Stone Cold switching the play up. The business Ortman across, and it's back down to McDonald.
Just seeing the Zebras with a bit of a formation tweak of their own. The Dwayne Pipe Rolch has come into right back. Yonazawa, who we've seen at right back in the first 2 games of the season, moved centrally to partner Geordie Muller. Obviously Luke Hughesloot out of action here today for a combination of either injury or conspiracy theory over his job location, which is my personal favourite theory. The dark arts work there in the offering potentially from the Tasmanian Greek community. As Curtis knocks that ball forward in the stone cold direction. He's knocked it off his teammate in Henry Fagg. Falls to Muller. Muller out wide to Edwards.
Exceptionally important that players get involved in their community though, Paul, as you would rightly know. See Geordie Muller over the ball. Happy to let it be thrown in by Stone Cold though. A lot on for the Olympia man earlier, seeming to push high on the defenders here, Olympia. Here to be playing the 4-4-2 this season.
Nadic bringing it down. Turns into a bit of trouble, straight into Jaden Hay. He coughed it up to Lucas Hill though, and Luke Stevens cycling out the back. Some of the Warriors' approaches, they were quite content to let Knights come at them the other night, tried to draw them on, then hit them over the top. Played a lot of long balls in Jack Ryan's direction. There's plenty of room to do that on this North Hobart pitch, and Koso comfortably dealt with by Dylan. Geordie Muller, crucial in that midfield battle against Scott. It's going to be one to look out for today, as this one's nodded back to the path of Nicky Edwards. Sanders to Muller. Outside of the boot. Pass, and Ben Curtis is able to get on it, but it's pass for force right now and just to retreat a little.
2 of the youngsters in Allen and Curtis coming into the lineup today. Rob Clark did forecast some changes in his post-match press conference on Wednesday night. One of the more sterner press conferences I think I've ever seen after a team that's won.
After a 3-1 win, you won't find many unhappier managers than Rob Clark in that scenario.
Fuming.
Fair ripped him. Gave him both barrels, said there'd be players dropped, and he's been true to his word. So, be looking for a better first half hour than they had against the Knights midweek. He was particularly pleased with the way they started that game, and Knights, well, they built a handy lead. Not for the goalkeeper. McDonald charging forward. Matty Pace here ran into a little bit of trouble. Kurtz down the line to Joffrey and Koso. Kicking the handles, plays it back to Ladic, and surely fouled by Pace there. Clever stuff from Ladic.
Just a little point at the player too there from Stratos Plomaridis, just to let him know it's a pretty bad foul, but probably a little bit too early on in the game to be handing out our slices of cheese. Ball heaved into the box now for Olympia. High ball, Watman challenges, but doesn't get there. And the header from Jack Ryan, I think it was, actually went very, very close to scoring.
Yeah, the English combination here. It's into a dangerous area. Kiefer comes, doesn't get there, and Ryan can't hit the target. Early chance there. Early frontman there. Sammy Watman has been slightly indecisive start to this game from him after a fantastic showing in round 1. Slightly nervy opening, and now he punches this one straight to Ben Curtis. So, his tidiest work so far, the Kiwi. Riley Dillon rolls it in. Yonwaza. Dillon loves to get forward, rewarding down that flank. A real creative outlet for them. Zimbra's content to just patiently knock it round. Sammy Watman, another touch, and giant figure. Jan Harutza carrying out. As it to Sanders. Really drops it off and saunters forward. Patient build up this. On the Zebras. They're in no real rush to pull the trigger, just moving them from side to side.
They're certainly using the space on the field well so far, are the Zebras. Olympia have looked reasonably solid at the back, apart from the one issue at the set piece earlier on.
Just noticing.
Certainly quick in transition too, Paul Hunt.
Yeah, absolutely. Just noticing in the middle of the park, Scott and Hay are pretty much going mano a mano for most of this game. They're not quite doing a direct man-marking job on each other, but they seem to be becoming a cross each other's paths a lot, so I think that'll be one battle to watch out for. So we see the Zebras earn another free kick. Stone Cold has been another one that's impressed in the opening couple of games for the Zebras.
Yeah, was initially thinking that it was a 4-4-2 for the Zebras, but it does appear that he's playing a very traditional number 10 role today. Is Jaden Hay, after a few minutes of watching the shape of the players on the pitch.
And this is the best thing about this commentary position here at North Hobart Oval. You feel like a tactical wizard standing up here.
Certainly got good oversight of the ground.
And they'll be loving his opportunity in a more advanced role. He's been pushing one for a number of years. He absolutely wants to play in that position.
You've got to give the bloke some credit, though, as a man who's always been willing to do a job for his team in positions that he doesn't consider his number one, particularly right back, left back. At times even played centre back, didn't he, under Markage? So he's a very versatile player, perhaps the most versatile on the field other than Ortman.
Possibly. I still think he plays his best football at a full-back position, but that's one we're never going to agree on. But I think you get him in straight lines, running up and down the flank, and that's where he's at his best. But casting the role as a 10 today, we'll see what he can do. He opened his goal-scoring account at Darcy Street the other day and put in a good shift there. Played out wide on that day as they really looked to get him running to the Archer.
Cole McDonald in a nice advanced position there.
Yeah, just playing the high line, the keeper, and probably something the keeper's going to need to do with so much space in behind today, but he really has pushed out a very aggressive line. I reckon if there's anyone in the comp who'd be confident enough to try and chip him from 60 yards, it'd be Colonel Sanders, so perhaps one to look out for, the long range.
Oh, Riley Dillon,
boost.
take it on, lad. No, checks back inside. Has it across here to Geordie Muller. Been a real linchpin of this Hobart Zebras team for a number of seasons now. We knew how much old coach Gab Markage loved him. Watman now. Well composed there, just knocking it across to Fag. He looks up and finds Stone Cold. A lot of movement in the final thirds so far. Jaden Hay has perhaps just stayed onside, but there was a late flag coming up from the linesman. Yeah, looking at that one again, it certainly looked to be a tight call.
Yeah, he was desperately trying to arc his run, was Jaden Hay, but he may have just taken a step too early. Olympia take the free kick short. We saw on Wednesday night, they're quite eager to use the width of the pitch, something they're not used to at their home ground at Warrior Park. Stevens into the chest of Ryan, went to go the flick. He could match up with Harutza today. Now Kurtz on the right-hand side. Tries to go outside Riley Dillon. Henry Fag comes across to clean up well. Good second defending there from the defender.
He started brightly today, the number 11. Give him a bit of credit so far. I've seen 3 fairly good defensive efforts. Maybe a little bit of a shout there for the foul throw, but they are never given. One of those rules that just appears to have been discarded by convention almost at times.
Well, we saw one given last week at South Hobart, and that's probably one more than I was expecting to see all season. In terms of the foul throw, Geordie Muller can play in. Nicky Edwards down the left-hand side. He's got Jaden Hay storming into the box, but Edwards completely shanks the through ball.
I would guess from that play there, Paul Hunt, that may be a right-footed player, perhaps trying to put in one on their left, or...
Yeah, correct assessment there. Edwards does prefer the right, although his left is certainly better than what he just executed there, and they'll be looking for better delivery from him throughout the afternoon. He flashes his pace. He's a tricky customer, Nicky Edwards. Not they lack in stature, he certainly makes up for it with trickery on the ball.
Yeah, if he goes head-to-head with Altman, we might have the shortest contest in the NPL TAS going ahead.
Yeah, we got land of the Giants with Ryan up against Harutza. There's every chance you could have the flip side of that if Edwards starts running at Altman. Throw in taken by Riley Dillon here. Edwards going to be the target in that direction. Dillon chips it out towards Jaden Hay, knees it almost in the Sanders direction, but Lucas Hill was there to play an intelligent switching ball Across here to Brayton Allen to run at the Zebras defence. He beats one, couldn't beat two. All covered in the end from the Dwayne pipe. And they go the other way. Pace tried to skip around Altman, who was having absolutely none of it there. There's the Biz, and he knocks it back in. Curtis. Scott. Shimmies round one. To Ladich as they work their way up the pitch here. The Warriors pushing numbers forward. Kurtz now the American. It's a loose touch in the end from Scott. Koso hadn't made the run for him regardless.
Bit too much pepper on the pass as well there from Kurtz possibly. Scott quite the task. Zebras content to defend fairly deep here in the first half. There's a long ball down the line. Exceed the head of the mountain. Olympia's captain will take the throw in quickly. Kyle McDonald directing traffic from his very advanced goalkeeping position. Allen looks to play a nice ball towards the king of the Andals, Joffrey Nkoso. It does fall to Nkoso. Lays it out to Ryan. Kurtz. Edwards tracking back to cut off the angles. Ladich tries to lay one in to Scott, who's battling against Jaden Hay. He does well against the Englishman. Sanders seems like he's going to be doing a lot of running up against the back three of the Warriors here this afternoon. As the Mountain looks for the crossfield ball. It's Allen against Walsh. Walsh heads it straight up in the air. Ryan controls it, looking for Nkoso. Falls to Ladich. What can he do from outside the box here? Jono Ladich goes to the chip. Oh, off the post. What a save. Sammy Watman. Ladich has already scored one pearler this year, and that was nearly two.
How's the audacity of the lad? Just says, oh, I spy you a fraction off your line there, Sammy Watman. Have some of this. And he nearly pulls it off too. The Kiwi using every inch of his frame to tip it onto the bar. And nearly a spectacular second for Jono Ladich this season. He doesn't do regulation cups, it would seem.
Fingertips in it there from Sammy Watman. We've said his passes at the start weren't the best, but he's more than redeemed himself there as Scott whips that one into the box. Rising high is Ryan, and Watman claims this time.
Geez, I'm almost claiming Peter Schmeichel there. You should be catching that one. But no, you've always got to give the credit to the keeper when they keep out. It was really a glorious chipped attempt there.
Caught him by surprise, I reckon. Back. Yeah, that's Schmeichel very much so. If you're on your correct line, you'll never get chipped. And, well, he was off his line, but good recovery in the end. And Jono Ladich, few would have the audacity to attempt that one.
You've got to have that in your locker now as a modern-day keeper, known for pressing out as much as possible rather than the 90s, when they were more stuck on their line a bit. Stone cold. Lays it off to Geordie Muller. Hay directing traffic from his more advanced role. Now, Yonezawa thought about the crossfield ball, but he'll lay it back to Horutza. And again, Olympia content to let the Zebras have the ball when it's amongst their defenders, and now they'll go through to Pace up against Morton, exceeds both of their heads. Ortman uses his body well. Back down the line where Horutza should be able to claim, and they'll recycle it out the left-hand side.
Really do appear to be placing a premium on their shape, both of these sides in this competition so far, because, well, in this game so far today, perhaps due to just the larger space of the ground. Certainly a theme that I'm always banging on about when I'm commentating NPL TAS, but certainly one of the smallest grounds I've ever seen, Warrior Park, and they do appear to be focusing on shape here, but with the Dwayne pipe is in, doesn't really have anyone in the box. Well defended there from Altman.
How many corners have we had there, Jono, so far today? Second corner of the day. Too many early on in this one. The Zebras with a chance. Striding across will be Riley Dillon. Man for the set pieces. Got 6 bodies in the box. Try and pick out. Can he conjure up something on the left? Dillon swings it in. Back post. McDonald scrambling. In the end, he's able to collect a few half-hearted shouts for a back pass, but keep shouting all day. Not going to convince the ref to make that kill.
No, certainly not when you're not making an active kicking motion. Just sort of smothering a ball back to your keeper. They'll let that one go. Riley Dillon now in the midfield. You'd be right to describe this game as cagey so far, boys.
Very much so. 20 minutes in, can Lucas Hill change that? He's striding forward, taking it upon himself to force the issue and then just overhit the pass. Something shocking. Yeah, neither team taking too many risks, keeping well organised at the back. Both teams pretty patient in their build-up, so a whole lot of chances just yet.
The wind potentially favouring the Warriors here so far in this first half, moving from left to right on your screen, going towards the end. The Warriors are attacking. We'll see what the Zebras can do out of defence. Henry Fagg to a very, very deep Colonel Sanders. Looks to go down the line to Edwards. Now, John O'Ladich has had the only real shot on goal in the first 20 minutes. The Mountain. Raking ball to Brayton Allen. That one would have cleared the fence at Warrior Park normally. Allen lays it back to Stevens. Very, very high percentage pass completion so far in the first 20-odd minutes, I'd say.
It's a short passing from both teams. Nicky Edwards turns on it. Willow's going to have to go back and collect. Look up. Back to Harutza. Check centre half. Partnering the man Henry Fagg today. Tommy Little rubbed out for that late red card he received at Darcy Street. As this one's chipped up in the Riley Dillon direction, up against Kurtz. Coming out at the former Bentley Greenspan. Keeps it in. Back to Edwards. Edwards, Geoffrey Nkoso charging him down, works it to pace and rake up the play. Lucas Hill smacks it on out. It's just going to hold up in that breeze. You can see the impact that the wind is having out there. One looked destined to just sail out of play, but just holding up. Japanese fullback, who's the central midfielder today. Doing necessity. Huge salute available. Of course, someone talked Geordie Miller was also going to miss, but to see him out there. Jaden Hay now pulls the trigger and launches a long diagonal. It's a good one in the Dillon direction, and Kurtz comes across and successfully appeals for the throw.
Riley Dillon, as we've seen, always looking to bomb on down this left flank. Got a whole lot of options to aim for at the moment. He's only really got the Colonel. Taking an age. The throw in is stone cold. Sanders v Hill, now crowded out with Kurtz. He's got goal side and nearly knocks it back to an on-rushing Jaden Hay. Did very well in a tight space there, did the Colonel.
Paul Stevens really needs to be congratulated for that challenge too, because his positioning was simply impeccable there. And you would just about say that it would be 1-0 to the Zebras if he hadn't made such a brilliant interception.
Good awareness from Stevens. Ian Hill here to be the preferred central defensive pairing this year. Ian May relegated to the bench today. Had been forced out for a fullback role. Lots of centre halves. Warriors, no shortage in those areas for them.
The very experienced pair that they've got here today. The ball's just let in here. Jaden Hay plays it forward to Colonel Sanders, but ball just couldn't quite reach him, and well covered by Kurtz, I think.
To win it back here through Jaden Hay. He looks to take on the business Altman. He drops the shoulder and charges to the byline, puts the cross in, and stretching Stevens sees it behind for another corner. Zebras just having a good little spell here, growing into the game nicely.
Oh, I've certainly enjoyed the last couple of minutes of play because it's been a bit pedestrian.tv from early on so far. So
it hasn't been that bad, come on.
No, that's true, that's true.
Pedestrian, a fair descriptive, but let's not go too far. Bringing that side into it.
Yeah, terrible media organisation, but we'll get back onto the game here.
That one's out towards Muller, battling with the king of the Andals, Geoffrey Nkoso. The Dwayne Pipe heaves that one up the middle. Bit of head tennis going on here. Jaden Hay finally gets it on the deck. Now space out wide for Stone Cold. Gets back on the left peg. Think he wanted to have a shot there. He's lining up his Riley Dillon. Good save. Cole McDonald. Nosebleed territory there from the left back.
We just saw Jaden Hay dropped the shoulder before. I almost think that is Riley Dillon dropping the elbow. Stone cold lad getting onto his preferred right and having a ping, but keeper was certainly well positioned there and never going to be beaten. He'd earn his team a corner though. Curls it in now.
Held away to the top of the box there, and Koso was lurking. All able to work it back to the Dwayne pipe. That was charged down. Now the race is on. John O'Ladich gets there first. The foul's been spotted by Plumerides. Bit of a shirt grab brought back, and the Zebras another opportunity perhaps for Stone Cold Riley Dillon to swing something in here with his immaculate set piece delivery. Jordan Muller will defer the duties to Riley Dillon.
Yeah, Hurutsa slowly making his way up to add some tall timber. I imagine Lucas Hill will make a beeline towards the Czech centre-back. Sanders pretty good at scrapping away over a set piece as well. Stone Cold Riley Dillon in that direction. It's a bit too close to the keeper though. And McDonald just about comes out and claims.
A rehearsed move. They had two runners making great runs.
And Olympia certainly didn't cover the near post particularly well there. I think their coach would be disappointed with that effort. Well kept. The new American import.
Lucas Hill slides across to Paul Stevens, and the slow build from the back can resume again. They've been a bit more patient today than we saw against Knights, where it was just knocking it long to Jack Ryan repetitively. They'll just mix it up a little bit more and keep it along the deck. And Koso to Ladich. This is promising. Overlapping is Allen crossing in. By the Zebras defence, and Walsh plays it across. Sanders presenting up, miscontrolled. Does well to win a throw in the end. Sanders just went a little wide initially.
Just starting to see a bit more expansiveness with the passing now coming into the game too. Teams looking to move the ball on a little bit more quickly.
It's like Allen and Koso have flipped flanks too. So now up on the left, and Allen on this near touch line to us. Jaden Hay brings that one down, rolls it back for Pace. Pace to Muller. Like the return ball, but Matthew Pace has since departed, and now Olympia can try and hit them back the other way through the king of the Andals. It's Joffrey and Koso. Now Gonawaza done for Pace. Stuck with him nicely. Up and under from Wortman.
And a bit more time there. The Mountain, a bit more communication would have been good with his right back Kurtz.
Throw there a little unnecessarily.
As we'll see. Stone Cold take the throw again. Only really Sanders making a genuine attempt to give him something to aim for. Edwards trying to get to the blind side of Kurtz. It's now Sanders. Edwards. Again, not quite the delivery he was after. Scott will clear away in the Ryan direction. He's now going up against Fag. Good chest control from the striker. Lays it off to Kurtz. A little bit left in there from Stone Cold afterwards. Joffrey and Koso's in a good amount of space on the far side, but that wind took that right into the path of Watman.
And releases Dwayne Walsh. That's for Matty Pace. Around at the business, Ortman looking to just nail down a starting place in the NPL Tasmania this year. Matthew Pace just pillaged goals in the Challenge League last season. More dominant players in the reserves comp, and certainly earned a shot with the seniors. Expect to see him starting most weeks for the Zebras in attack. Waza to Hurutsa. Geordie Muller. Pressure from Scott. Both teams quite content at times to take this approach. Henry Fagg, Edwards. For Pace, but Pace couldn't get around Lucas Hill. He's only got one man in front of him, that's Jack Ryan, and he did not give him a chance there. Englishman particularly impressed with the service he received there.
He's peeling off, trying to get behind the back shoulder of Hurutsa, and probably isn't going to beat the Czech centre-back for Pace anytime soon. So should really look to play to his chest or to his feet. It's Geordie Muller. Sizes up the options, finds Sanders, beaten out by the other number 17, Curtis, who's then caught in a zebra sandwich. Eventually the foul goes against today's home side. We're half hour into the match. Not quite a match that's not quite getting my heart rate up as much as last night's A-League game. Let's put it that way. And Stevens to Nkoso. King of the Handles against Walsh, sliding in. Eventually was Harutza, and they got it clear. This time we've seen Nkoso cut inside onto that right peg.
Yeah, giving it the reverse Ian Robin there was Geoffrey Nkoso, just cutting inside a little bit. Surprised to hear you watching the A-League there, Paul, last night. It's unlike you.
Oh, aged me 10 years. I wish I didn't watch it.
Was that the penalty?
Yeah.
Bizarre penalty situation.
VAR, penalty, save, reverse, retake.
Peak A-League, I say.
Oh, absolute peak A-League. Made the NPL look tame, that weirdness of the last 10 minutes, as we have Scott to take the corner, looking towards the back post. Ryan has put it in! The English import scores again with a header at the back post. Warriors 1-0 up.
Yeah, the big tall timber at the back post. They had him and Lucas Hill there, and they've found a way to bury it from close range. That's one that the keeper probably needs to be dealing with in his 6-yard box there. But the Warriors get the game's first goal. There's been a few clear-cut chances beforehand. It's been a real slog of a game, but there it was. The Englishman swinging this one to the back post. And there was Jack Ryan. What's there too?
I think I'll be running with the fat lady now for Francis's annoying horn thing, because it was certainly singing then and perhaps singing a little early.
Yeah, I think a bit too early to be bringing the fat lady into it, Morks. There's still plenty of football to be played here. That's just, you know, if you hear that sound, it's not a hurricane. The Warriors have scored a goal. That's
the annoying horn thing.
Francis' love child there, but no, I'd love to see the support.
I do love it.
I do just prefer it when it's at the gate at Warrior Park, not right underneath the media box.
So, how will the Zebras respond to going behind here? Olympia get the early goal. So, chances at a premium in this first half, and the tempo has been a little sluggish at time. Maybe this will kick the Zebras into gear. Ball to the back post, but you can't be letting free headers be taken from that range.
It was certainly a corner that took advantage of the wind at play today in the ground and really got up and under and allowed it to just kind of scoop in with the natural curve of the ball and put it on a plate for Ryan at the far post. Play like that does not miss chances like that. Zebras now just trying to get back into the game, but Warriors dropping deep to keep them out now.
It'll be interesting to see what the Warriors do after going 1-0 up. We saw them hold steady against South Hobart in the first round before a shaky last few minutes that they had to hold on. But on this bigger pitch, we'll see how they go. It's Nkoso looking to the feet of Ryan, who's got his confidence up. Well, he'd have a shot from range, but the deflection took all the power off it.
Tame effort in the end from the Englishman. Roll out to the Czech centre half. Miller as ever to drop deep to try and kickstart the play. Henry Fagg. He's not flying any sort of press here. It's far up the pitch. Harutza might play the diagonal towards Edwards. Tracking it, but just sailed on him there. The wind making it quite tough to play those aerial diagonal balls today. Kurtz. Back to Lucas Hill. Scott punching back to McDonald. Beautiful day for football here at North Hobart. Sun-soaked oval here today as they've coughed it up, and maybe a chance for Matty Pace to drive in behind of the business Ortman, who slides down and wins it away from him well. Tenacious stuff there from Ortman.
And then just gets clattered by Pace afterwards. You'd borderline give that a yellow card, certainly if it was in the second half. It was a full-blooded retaliation challenge there, and very late indeed.
Yeah, I didn't feel that one. Out of frustration.
Absolutely.
Probably was a cheddar in that, I reckon.
He got ticking off it. He considered himself lucky, perhaps, as Kurtz goes back to Lucas Hill. Hill. Tried to take on Colonel Sanders, who dispossessed him. Tumble, but gets away with it.
The arrogance that works 90% of the time with Lucas Hill there. Certainly one of the best centre-backs in Tasmania with the ball at his feet.
He's certainly not short of confidence the way he takes off from those runs from defence. Do need a midfielder to be alert. See him go bombing forward every opportunity. Lucas Hill
does fancy himself occasionally in the centre of the park. In a more midfield role does the Mountain. We saw him there a bit over the last 2 seasons with the Warriors. Now, Walsh, he's returned from injury. You just see the Dwayne Pipe, a slice of cheese favourite, back out there at right back. And now it's going to be kept in by Allen. Fag will go back to Watman. Here, Ryan looking to apply some form of press. Curtis has the height over Jaden Hay, but he does really well. Edwards trying to get that one out of the sun. He's pretty well into the box. Sanders waiting for it. Hill got a bit of shin pad on that clearance. Just got it over the top of the goals for a corner.
And he simply had to make a challenge there, didn't he? Because Colonel Sanders, one of the most lethal goal scorers in the league, it's just a metre to his left there. So really you've got to give the Mountain some credit there. Imperious, looking more like the great dividing range there. Riley Dillon curls it in near post, headed onwards, and there's a chance! Headed over the top, and you've got to at least be working the keeper there, Henry Fagg.
The opportunity goes big. I think it might have been pace, actually. But, big chance.
Oh, bit of holding there too on Henry Fagg, and it was pace with the header in. My mistake, but certainly a shout for the penalty.
Be interesting if the ARs were on the opposite sides of the ground, whether you'd be able to see that from this end, obviously obscured from the other side, but yeah, from up here that looks like a clear hold on Fagg, but not seen live, so not given. And
it's just a disgrace they don't have VAR in here, isn't it, Paul? Absolutely. I mean, every other league in the world's got it except for the English Premier League.
Ash is just his ears are perking up. Producer, the opportunity to get in on that, but look, I think we'll leave the officiating to the people who know what they're doing down the middle, and we'll just continue with our nonsense as this one's played back to Paul Stevens, turning away from Matty Sanders sharply. And plays it to Nkoso. Nkoso jinks past one, and he's off to the races here. Joffrey Nkoso running at this defence. Played a 1-2 with Ladich. Flag stays down, and it's steered away just for the throw-in. So Nkoso making defenders miss, as is his way.
Well, I'd raise my flag at that, so we'll have another look at this offside decision. I did think that he had strayed. Yep, certainly the correct decision, though probably a little bit more in it than it looks from that angle, so perhaps just one miss there.
The Warriors an opportunity. Altman launches the throw into the box, so Rutzer drapes all over Ryan, who hits the deck, gets back up, controls it out to Nkoso. So you get the cross in. Locking him off. Joffrey Nkoso dancing along the touchline and settled for a throw in.
Geez, the holding there was a bit of an artwork from Churutza, with the Olympia player being the canvas and him being the paint. He was absolutely all over him there, but again, let go by Plomaridis, who is happy to really let these teams play so far. Colonel Sanders now getting involved early, and the race is on. There's a foot race, and the keeper's come for it, and he probably shouldn't have, to be honest, because he's been bailed out there by Kurtz, I believe.
Kurtz always seemed to have that one covered. It could have been a bit of serve giving him the passing option, not to be, and it's Riley Dillon taking his time over the throw in here. Eventually just turns it straight over to Scott when he's looking for Sanders. Charged down by Dillon. 5 minutes left in the first half here. A goal to nil in favour of the Warriors. Jack Ryan's head up, the difference between the sides as we approach the interval. Presents up at this one and flicks on well. Brayton Allen chasing, but his opposite Namo Fag was there to steer it away. Altman's head up to Benjamin Curtis. Of it by Muller. And Walsh back to Harutza. Got all day to take his time, assess the field. Gives it to Henry Fagg as, again, the Warriors content just to sit off here. Showing inclination to really force the issue just at the moment. Now Fagg saunters out and chips it in the Lucas Hill direction, leads Sanders back to the ball and clears that one away.
Really from the modern school of keeper is Kyle McDonald. Seen him off his line plenty in this game. The former Burnley and Perth Glory keeper. Zionizawa finds Geordie Muller. And they just randomly fell to the ground before where that pass was meant to go. Back to his feet now is Haig against Ortman. The two utility men of the club going at it. Trying to get down the line is Hay, but Ortman stands his ground well. And now in Koso. He's got Dwayne Walsh to run at, just kicks it straight in to the Zebras defender. And now Muller.
To give the fullbacks some credit so far in this game because they're performing very well for all teams at this stage.
There's a lot of enjoyment in behind the flanks, that's there, on either side. And some sliding challenge on Yonawaza, someone who normally is a fullback, but in the midfield today.
Yonawaza was strong there. Really getting across and helping out the cover there. He's looked a little bit of a trip there on the centre back from the Hobart Zebras and correctly given there by Stratos.
A lot of urgency in this last few minutes. You'd think Olympia would be pretty keen to get one before the half. Zebras don't really have any obligation to go striding forward in any great lengths. Just happy to stroke it round the back. Scott finally applying a bit more of a press from defensive mid. As we'll see, the usual match manager and Tony Pert back to his rightful spot. Marcus handing over the fluoro jacket.
Many minutes out of time. A signal, the Zebras looking to get back on terms before the break here. It's Nicky Edwards trying to squirm his way out of amongst the tensions of Ortman. And Ortman's done really well there. He's won the throw-in. Very solid game at left back. Latest of the positions has been selected to play. Goes with a long throw to Ladich, flicked on. Only Henry Fagg back there. Treats further to Watman. Ryan, a little bit of pressure on him. Getting the hard yards up top. The Englishman. His second goal of the season here.
Love seeing the cap out from the keeper too. Always a good look.
Sporting that last week as well was Sammy Watman. Not afraid to rock the accessories as Sanders against Hill. Finally got a clip in the back. Did the Colonel, which is what he was after the whole time. Finds Edwards. Pace. Edwards trying to get a pocket of space. Maybe another foul. Nah, not given. Curtis, the judge to have got the ball. And now in Koso will look to play in Brayton Allen. He's got Harutza for company. Ryan storming forward. So's Ladich. Little through ball. Not elected. Hits it with the left and right into the grateful chest from Sammy Watman. But a good chance there for Brayton Allen.
Something in there. Trying to get onto that left foot of his, but able to beat Watman. Edwards tries to turn around Ortman. Ortman slides, and as he played it off him again, he has. He's having a fine game, is the Biz. Wins another duel there, much to the frustration of Nicky Edwards.
He's been fairly even across the park, but certainly suggests that Mark Ortman and Ryan have been the difference so far for the Warriors. But Joffrey and Koso now trying again to make a difference, running at Harutza. Gets onto his right and goes past him, but the cover comes in well from Yonazawa and Muller there.
Sanders now leading Stevenson, just slipping a little. The ball somehow staying in there, walking the tightrope, and eventually it's going to be in favour of the Warriors. Sanders a long way away from where they'd like him to be receiving the ball, I reckon. I can see him getting a bit more of it in the penalty area. He does his best work. And to get the signal from Nathan Code, our fourth official. See how many other minutes we've got, and it'll just be the solitary minute. Hasn't been a whole lot of stoppages. In truth, there hasn't been a whole lot of action in this first half. It's been a cagey affair for the most part. The Zebras starting to create a little bit, but Warriors holding firm at the back for now. Sanders with a lovely ball for Riley Dillon. Turning back onto that right foot. He want to get the cross in. He stands it up there in the Sanders direction. Stevens always favoured by it. Curtis holds on to Scott. And Scott, is it really a ball that gave Allen no hope whatsoever? Straight to Henry Fagg.
Shades of the last half hour midweek of Jack Ryan getting absolutely no service. We saw it's the latter half of the game against the Knights, but the difference with that one is they were 3-1 up, so they had a bit more of a cushion. As Hay looks down the line for Edwards. Ortman's plenty of time to cover. McDonald just seemed to hit that one out of play. Maybe come off the heel a bit more than he wanted.
The definition of when in doubt, I would dare say there, Paul, just with time looking to probably expire at any moment now, but it's as though Plumeritas will allow one last Zebras attack. Let's see if they can equalise just before half-time. Curled in attempt from Dwayne Pipe, but it will be 1-0 at the end of the first half, an advantage Olympia Warriors after a header at the back post from their new star striker, Jack Ryan.
Ryan grabbing his second of the year, the lone goal of a first half devoid of scoring chances for the most part. And Ladich nearly pulled off one with a spectacular chip, but they're pretty few and far between the goal scoring chances. They've cancelled each other out a little, both these teams, and we want to see a little bit more intent in the second half.
I'd say that both teams have just had the two chances. There's really the Ladich chance and Jack Ryan that he converted, Hurutza, and the pace effort, I think you corrected me with, in the corner there. So yeah, very, very cagey at this stage. So we'll be hoping for this game to open up a little bit more in the second half.
Perhaps some tired legs, we'll see a little bit more space players to operate in. Here's another look at that goal. The Englishman just setting it up on the breeze. And there was big Jack Ryan at the back post. They couldn't handle him in the air. He and Lucas Hill to contend with. It's a tough one for them. The Englishman has nodded the Warriors into the lead as we head into the halftime sheds. We'll be back in around about 10 minutes time with the second half coming up here as we have one last look there at Jack Ryan just easing that one in, and that is the difference between the sides as we head into the break.
The ball's played through here for the Warriors. There's a reasonable chance. Played across. And the intervention coming in crucially from Henry Fagg to knock it behind there.
Quickly in Koso to the back post. Down and gathered by the impressive Samuel Watman. Pulled off two massive saves. Although he's made a mess of that. And there might be punished over the top from the mountain. Out of the keeper's hands there. Was it out on the line to Joffrey and Koso. Kicking the handles, plays it back to Ladich. And surely fouled by pace there. Clever stuff from Ladich.
Just a ball heaved into the box now for Olympia. High ball, Watman challenges, but doesn't get there. And the header from...
You do from outside the box here, Jono Ladich goes to chip. Oh, off the post, what a save. You do from outside the box here, Jono Ladich goes to chip. Oh, off the post, what a save.
And swings it in, back post, McDonald scrambling. And he's able to collect a few half-hearted shouts for a back pass, but...
Stone cold. Sanders v Hill. Now crowded out with Kurtz. He's got goal side and nearly knocks it back to an on-rushing Jaden Hay. Did very well in it.
Jaden Hay, he looks to take on the business Altman. He drops the shoulder and charges to the byline, puts the cross in. And stretching Stevens sees it
out wide for Stone Cold. Gets back on the left peg. Think he wanted to have a shot there. He's lining up his Riley Dillon. Good save. Cole McDonald, nosebleed territory there from the left. Stone Cold Riley Dillon in that direction. It's a bit too close to the keeper though. And McDonald just about comes out and claims.
rehearsed move. They had two runners making great runs.
And Olympia certainly didn't cover the near.
This is up the options. Finds Sanders. I think now, well, the other number 17, Curtis, who's then caught in a zebra sandwich. Actually, the foul goes against today's home side. To Nkoso. King of the Handles against Walsh, sliding in. Eventually was Harutza, and they got it clear. Weirdness of the last 10 minutes as we have Scott to take the corner, looking towards the back post. Ryan has put it in! The English import scores again with a header at the back post. Warriors 1-0 up.
Yeah, the big
Weirdness of the last 10 minutes as we have Scott to take the corner, looking towards the back post. Ryan has put it in! The English import scores again with a header at the back post. Warriors 1-0 up.
Yeah, the big.
We'll see how they go. It's Nkoso looking to the feet of Ryan, who's got his confidence up. Well, he'd have a shot from range, but
Face to drive in behind of the business Altman, who slides down and wins it away for him well. Gracious stuff there from
And
Altman.
then just gets clattered.
Edwards trying to get that one out of the sun. He's pretty well into the box. Sanders waiting for it. Hill with a bit of shin pad on that.
Great dividing range there. Riley Dillon curls it in near post, headed onwards, and there's a chance. Headed over the top, and you've
He's off to the races here. Joffrey Nkoso running at this defence. Played a 1-2 with Ladich. Flag stays down and it's steered away. It's for the thrust there. Warriors an opportunity. Altman launches the throw into the box. So Woodson drapes all over Ryan, who hits the deck, gets back up, throws it out to Nkoso.
Trying to get a pocket of space. Maybe another foul. No, not given. Curtis, the judge to have got the ball, and now Nkoso will look to play in. Brayton Allen, Ryan storming forward. So's Ladich, little through ball. Not elected, hits it with the left, and all right into the grateful chest from Sammy Watman, but a good chance.
All spectators, please leave the field of play. Thank you.
Nope. Does it live?
All right, we're back for the second half here at North Hobart. The Warriors holding sway 1-0. For 45 minutes of football. Can the host turn that around here in their first of two games at North Hobart for the season? They'll need to show a little bit more attacking intent in this second half if things are to change. First half devoid of chances. Jack Ryan crucially took one for Olympia, heading home from a corner. Leaving the Zebras to chase the game. Henry Fagg across to Juan Harutza. Haven't seen any substitutions at half-time. See any new bodies out there as Henry Fagg carries forward, and Olympia quite content just to sit off. Nicky Edwards played in now. Lucas Hill read that like a book and he's off to the races. Probably tried to do a bit too much, but it might still work out all right as he slides in Koso. They've got a 2v1 here with Ryan unmarked if you can work it to him. And Koso just got held up a fraction. Just delayed him. Now Allen, it's a poor pass and a real missed opportunity there for the Warriors.
Yeah, Ryan looking a little bit unimpressed with the service there from Nkoso because he certainly had the opportunity to play him in first time there. But you've got to give that Zebras defence to a little bit of credit. They did get back and marshal the space rather well, with Harutza in particular forcing Nkoso to take another touch and watching the opportunity to slip in. Jack Ryan slip away.
As we see, the Dwayne Pipe seems to have grown a bit more of a majestic beard in the off-season. Good to see from the Dwayne Pipe. Out of Muller, Jaden Hay hugging the touchline as much as he can. Tries to find pace. Might fall to Edwards, who's ended up centrally, and Lucas, the Mountain Hills, just left the body in on someone half his size.
Fair clattered in there, didn't he? It's the type of challenge where you can easily pick up a
to Edwards, who's ended up centrally, and Lucas, the Mountain Hills, just left the body in on someone.
You're giving him a bit of a telling off there.
A couple of late challenges in this match so far that have gone unpunished, which you might have seen on different occasions. Stone Cold Riley Dillon.
Something I do like about our referees in Tasmania is that generally they do let the play go on and let the players really get stuck in at times. Riley Dillon here. I think I've seen him take set pieces with both feet.
Yeah, ambidextrous, left or right this time on the right. Comfortable enough for McDonald, clutches it to his chest. Won't have enough to be a keeper of his calibre there, but on target. McDonald looking for the quick release. Eventually will thump it long. No one home, so they'll go for the secondary ball instead, and it hands onto the noggin of Ladich. Heads it forward. They've got it under control there. Wires it back. Fag. Diagonal. Jaden Hay. Pace. Surrounded by Warriors. Stepping in. Muller. Fag. Aaron pass there, although be able to go back and get it. They're really patient in the way they've built up today, the Zebras. Both teams have in truth, and this one's a really poor ball for Sanders and should be escorted out.
I think it's going to be more of a reflection of how new coach David Smith had wanted his team to play. He probably hasn't had a chance to really do that in the first two games. Obviously the game versus Clarence was pretty much over by the hour mark, and then South Hobart, they put in a really good defensive stint out at Darcy Street. And probably the patient build-up is what he'd like the most, as Watman's left that a little short for Harutza. Probably should get the ball back to keeper, but Harutza goes down the line. Pace. Altman going the most safety first of safety first there.
He needs a touch there as Wayne Walsh, the Wolfman, look a little as you touched on. Throw from in front of the Warriors bench. Sanders to Jaden Hay to get those two more involved into the second half as Jordan Scott now with a raking ball out in front of his compatriot Jack Ryan, but really the type to be chasing down through balls. You want to be hitting his chest, hitting his feet, really centre forward. Certainly target man role. He's fouled here.
Certainly been impressed with Henry Fagg today. Very composed at the back here for the Zebras, and a player that has a bit of history with that club, if I'm not mistaken. Good to see him coming back and getting involved again, and looks to have slotted in fairly seamlessly at the top.
As Kurtz and Scott exchange passes on the far side. Mountain Hill back to McDonald. Ryan pretty angry with himself there at that lack of control. And there is the aforementioned Henry Fagg, who has the talent for the NPL, just elected to play championship the last year or two. Played plenty in the Victory League days down here. There's Ryan.
Certainly at the semi-professional level that can be understanding, as players must have their own careers, so there are times when other things in life need to be prioritised other than football, and that's a fairly good ball through, and offside is Joffrey and Koso, however.
Jono Ladich not terribly happy with his teammate there at not staying onside.
Yeah, he held the ball up in the breeze rather well there, so you can understand the frustration. They've looked really good in midfield, have the Warriors. With Ben Curtis slotting in aside. The new import in Scott.
He's held his own in there today, young Benny Curtis. 17 years of age. Young player. Bright future there, really talking up his prospects.
Well, with the injury record of the very brilliant Nick Mearns, you'd have to say that he'll probably get a chance to play on. Great crossfield ball, almost played in for the Dwayne Pipe, but dealt with there in a sense by Mark Ortman, but any coach would be worried about a header across the face of the box like that. It did work out.
There's faith in him, but here he is striding forward again. just carries the ball out.
Well, they do say that faith moves mountains, but the faith made the mountain move there in that case.
Certainly got on his bike and was going the gears as this one is dealt with by Harutza. Nodding back to Sammy Watman away from Jack Ryan's attention. Henry Fagg again, and then they look to play out from defence, always dropping at his feet. He plays it to Sanders, who's a little flick on, just eluded Edwards. Jordan Scott now. The Englishman plays it in behind Brayton Allen, tracks it and then loses it to Henry Fagg. Hey, Mr. Dillon, Riley Dillon. Now Sanders cuts inside and surely spread it across to Geordie Muller. He does just that. They've got Hussein to line up in the middle. Goes back instead to Walsh. Walsh looking to take on Nkoso and then looks to take on Ortman as well and does him down the outside. But Ortman gets a foot in and behind for a corner. Hit the afterburners there, did Dwayne Walsh.
Yeah, a bit of itsy-bitsy spider there from the Dwayne pipe. Really getting moving up and down that right-hand side here today.
Saw plenty of that on this ground last year in round one. The Zebras were looking electric down the wings. Haven't seen too much of it today.
Riley Dillon now taking this particular set piece on his left. Curled in, but just about curled too much and
penalty.
Too close, but a penalty has been given there. And perhaps a hold that we've missed there. We're going to need to have a look at this replay. High fives coming from Geordie Muller into what looked like Henry Fagg perhaps. But
Jack Ryan.
We'll have to have another look here.
Jack Ryan on Geordie Muller on the goal line, I think. It's a very late look at it with that camera. He's got his arms around him in the build-up to it. He ends up on the deck, and Plomarides points to the spot. Matthew Sanders presented with a glorious opportunity to get his side back on terms here. Not a whole lot of protestation from the Warriors defenders.
You've got to call this one a snack box for the Colonel. He's certainly going to eat this one up.
It's, well, rival franchises here. It's the Colonel Sanders up against McDonald in net, who will reign supreme. Sanders steps up, and he sends him the wrong way to square things up at North Hobart. It's 1-1 at North Hobart Oval. Matthew Sanders ice cold from the spot, and we've got ourselves a game now. Will that be what this one needed to come to life? One apiece.
And in the battle of the fast food franchises, it is the Colonels who comes out on top, and rightfully so.
Yeah, they do have the popcorn chicken edge, I'll give them that, and they've got Matty Sanders stroking home here. Restore parity after Olympia had started the half pretty well, really. Had a couple of nice moments, but just lack of discipline from a set piece.
You know, if I was listening, I would almost believe that we were paid for that advertising, but we certainly weren't. Just the usual rubbish that we talk here at Slice of Cheese. Stevens now looking to get things moving for the Warriors. Certainly the long ball has come into the game a little bit more as we've continued, and that is a real catching there from Stone Cold Riley Dillon, bringing WWE to Tasmania right there.
What a surprise, he leads with the people's elbow there, Stone Cold Riley Dillon. Copped him right in the snout. Let's have a look at that on replay. It just comes across and goes whack.
I think he only had eyes for the ball.
He did.
We've got to give Riley Dillon a bit of credit there, but it doesn't make it any more comfortable for the player that's been caught there. Still spending a little bit of time on the ground and hopefully didn't catch that blow too solidly and was more of a glancing hit.
Wasn't quite as deliberate as last year's Stone Cold making challenge that Riley Dillon made, but if you're going to have the nickname Stone Cold, I'm not giving you much benefit of the doubt.
Just been a little reminder of last year. Geordie Muller, who was on the other end of a penalty decision 12 months ago against this ground, a very, very soft one in the eyes of the Zebras. So,
actually,
roundabouts to see. Have another look at that. Jeez.
I didn't think I was far off.
Maybe he has raised the elbow there.
He's definitely raised an elbow there. Stone cold. Absolutely
The
stunning.
people's elbow.
Jeez, that's not good. He needs to watch himself there, Riley Dillon.
And Ladic just limping over to the bench there a little bit.
Well, for the match
A little
review
bit
panel,
uncomfortable.
possibly.
Blew at him, didn't he? As Jordan Scott takes the resulting free kick in the Jack Ryan direction. Ryan's header on target. But Easily gathered by Sammy Watman.
He's looking a bit disoriented there on the sidelines. Is Bay Kurtz, rather. I'll correct myself with the player that copped that elbow.
American. Another good sliding challenge from Ortman, but certainly copped the brunt of that knock. It's Jaden Hay now trying to get him behind. Again, Ortman is on hand to put it behind for a corner. Zebras perhaps building in confidence to take advantage while the Warriors are down to 10 with Kurtz just being assessed down there sideline, and perhaps a little bit of claret, I would suggest, going out, judging by attention he's receiving as this one swung in. That one just curling on the breeze and finding the side netting only, doing a little bit too much there on the wind there, Dylan.
It's the second one in a row where I'm actually convinced he was having a shot from the corner there, Riley Dillon.
Burns starting to show some signs of warming up. Warriors bench stretching out a little. Expect he might be man to be introduced if Kurtz can't continue.
McDonald launches the free kick towards Nkosa on his hour. Heads that one clear.
Even probably the more natural replacement on the bench, but it's Mearns who looks like he's going to be inserted into the contest shortly. Away from a Harutza. Bring it away there. Koso, Jaden Hay now. Plays it off. Curtis stays in and Jaden Hay chips it forward. Paul Stevens has been very solid at the back today.
Maybe just jarred a knee going for that challenge. Did Pace?
Nah, just reckon he's trying to con the ref with the high boot, I think, there, Paul Hunt. Well defended there from Paul Stevens, and I think that's at a level where both players are entitled to go for that ball.
Well, just get sandwiched between Walsh and Sanders there, just bracketing him and fringing him in the eyes of the referee, so it'll give Scott another one of these set pieces in. Just some challenging questions from them today. Short option this time to Nkoso. Scott wanted to just dink it over the top of Walsh, who made a good sliding challenge to see it away.
And he just absolutely gives it to Joffrey Nkoso there, does Jordan Scott. The Englishman's setting the standard in this team, and I think he's absolutely right, because Nkoso probably should have played that ball about 3 or 4 metres in front of him there. Really killed that chance. Poor layoff there.
Still down to 10 men at the moment. The Warriors. Bay Kurtz still being looked at as Ryan wins the header. Ladich wants to come in. Fag just about gets it. Ladich! Oh, just wide. Once again from the Warriors midfielder. They haven't had too many look-ins this half. Ladich not too far away there.
Oh, I like to see that. Always love to see players shooting from outside the box. And when you've scored a goal like he did on the opening round, you've got every right to be having a crack at shots like that. But charging up the flank now are the Zebras. He crossed to the right-hand flank. Will Dwayne Pipe keep it in? Attempts to, but doesn't.
Just did a bit too much on the win there. Nicky Edwards thought he played a great ball in spotting the run of Walsh, who charged forward unopposed, but Bay Kurtz has just entered the fray again, which is good to see. So we're back to 11 on 11 for the time being. Hit back over to the left wing as McDonald floats this one over the head of Joffrey Nkoso. Dwayne Pipe takes it to Hay, pushing it off to Pace, unsuccessful. Benjamin Curtis now. Comfortable on the ball, and he goes back to Paul Stevens. Altman with the first time pass and a nice 1-2. Try and play their way out of trouble through Scott, couldn't do so. Jaden Hay now digs in the ball for Pace. Now it might fall for Nicky Edwards. Nicky Edwards shaping to shoot, charged down by Hill, falls in the direction of Dillon. Away from him by Brayton Allen. Roddy Waller gets his foot back on it. Warriors half back deep, content to sit in for now. Edwards trying to break through, slides a clever little ball for Sanders. Sanders, the close attention, and they win the ball away from him. Kurtz to Allen. Swings it long for Jack Ryan, but Watman be able to gather this one. 61.5 minutes tick by, 1-1 the score.
Really looks to be a player that wants to play off the shoulder of the defender at all times, does Jack Ryan. Can lead to him looking a little bit isolated at times, but a player that when he's given the right service can give you silver service delivery.
McDonald.
Just grab the glass of milk there, boys. Sorry, be right back.
Out of the mountain. Been looking to make a substitution sometime soon, I think, either side. Warriors right on cue.
The double sub.
Hoping the double sub. Looks like Mearns and Thompson likely to come on. And Koso keeps the ball in. Hay battling the two number 10s going at it. It's Joffrey and Koso looking to go in the box. Gets to the feet of Ryan. Ryan lays it back to Scott, who hit one from a similar position on Wednesday night, but did not quite hit that one as well.
It was a nicely worked move there. Jack Ryan with some great hold-up play. Lays it back, and Scott just blazing over the top as those two changes will now be made. Nick Mearns set to be injected into this one. Thompson, the other man, coming on, and Benjamin Curtis makes way after an hour from the youngster there. And it looks like I think Kurtz is going to be the other one, perhaps not fully recovered from that knock. No, Allen, in fact. So Brayton Allen will be the man replaced.
Handy player to bring on is Nick Mearns.
Jake Thompson will head over to the right wing.
Watman now can't quite decide what side of the pitch he wants to take it from. Eventually the Kiwi puts it in the Hay direction. Good leap from Mearns. Two lots of 60 minutes so far, Mearns, and he's got half hour to try and work his magic on this game. Colonel Sanders beaten out by Mearns. Now back to Pace, and Koso trying to use his body, but Pace still going down the line. Got three Warriors to beat, and eventually Ortman sees that one out for a throw-in. Hay, who seems to be not on the right wing for the moment.
With the long throw, Jaden Hay. He's got a pretty good roost on him. He swings this one in. Made Sanders work for it. Flicked it back there towards Edwards. Jono Ladich, as he is ever, Warriors central midfield brigade today, and he's won the ball back. And Lucas Hill is charging forwards. Got around Muller. And Nick Mearns' first chance to get involved is to swing one to his fellow substitute Thompson. Thompson with a couple of step overs. Pass. Not as eye-catching. Coughed it straight up. I was expecting his fullback to be more advanced than he was, but flash no substance on that occasion, Thompson. But I do like a substitute who come on and throw multiple step overs in with his first touch of the ball. That's the type of stuff we like to see. As this one's worked towards Sanders, one away from him. Paul Stevens out the back. Has any team got something left in the tank here to run out this game strong and claim for the win? Locked at 1-1, and that's a sloppy pass from Stevens for the Ortman. And before Hay can take the throw, some action on the Zebras bench, and that looks like Sunday McEwen is set to enter, and he will replace Matthew Pace. So like for like in attack really there.
Sunday, another one of the Zebras players coming back from injury over the off-season.
Well, it is his day today, so let's see if it can be his day.
Sanders.
Sunday McEwen there. Well headed back there from Paul Stevens. He's looked good today as Paul Stevens, certainly looking in fine form this year.
He and Hill, if they settle that as a central defensive pairing, leave them there, they'll be in pretty good stead.
Yeah, I think that was one of the biggest problems for the Warriors at times last year, really having to chop and change with their centre-back pairings, and Lucas Hill getting deployed all around the park at times. I think he even played as a striker at one point last season. Mearns just typically composed on the ball here, knocking it about and just allowing the Zebras players to come at him and move out of position. A bit of an overlap here. Jake Thompson, first time on the ball. He's got a couple in the box. Well challenged there from the number 2, Ryu Yonezawa. Playing it off Jakey Thompson and earning a goal kick. He's looked good today, as Yonezawa.
Yeah, he's settled into this Zebras side nicely in his first couple of games in the NPL TAS. Previously played in Victoria and on the Gold Coast prior to coming here. Scott. Now the Warriors again will look to build from the back. Ortman, probably the best playing left back, one of the best playing ball playing left backs in the league. Eventually the foul is given. Mearns gingerly back to his feet.
I never ever want to see that man looking like he's injured a knee. Yeah, just a bit of an impact one there though. Can be a little bit painful when you cop a knock on the inside of the knee.
Heart and mouth for Mearnsy every time he cops a knock like that. So he had his last couple of years just destroyed, as this one is gathered by McDonald. They're taking a fairly cautionary approach with him this year, the Warriors, which is why we've seen him not starting today after the midweek game. Just relax the playing loads a little early in the year, but it's been moving all right. Wanted to have a piece of that one. McDonald says I'll go myself, and maybe he would have been better off.
Great jukes down there on the bench. I tell you what,
Smithy, that was a great jukes, whoever it was.
That was a great outstretched mark there on the wing.
He's almost could be a shout for getting into training as a keeper there. Just a little bit shaky at times today, Watman. They could be bringing in the big fella in red if he continues to provide silver skills like that.
Bit harsh on Sammy after his Monday effort, I reckon, but you're harsh.
Very true.
Very harsh judges.
Well, it's not so much a criticism of Watman as just praise about that beautiful piece of work down on the boundary line.
Fag looks to force the issue here, goes across to the Dwayne pipe, trying to get him behind of Nkoso. Altman there in support, and then just cleverly chips it out in front of Jono Ladic, and Nkoso's continued his run, so he rolls it off to him. Clipped, but allowed to continue. A loose pass in the end, and Fag steers it away. Business Ortman.
Really had to labour today as Joffrey Nkoso. Played off a couple of poor passes. The frustration from the English boys coming in today at times with his service.
Yeah,
certainly
was Hill there. Wiley Dillon was charging at top speed. Just tried to lift it over the top of the mountain, but just extended the leg. Well deep. The Kurtz in that one into play. Another sub. The offing here.
For a game that hasn't really gotten into its rhythm, these substitutions are really breaking it up even more.
Yeah, Lockie Burt, the man coming on for Geordie Muller, so really not surprising he doesn't get through the 90 minutes. Was under a fair bit of doubt coming into the game with a hamstring concern, and they'll be pretty glad we've got 70 minutes out of him, I reckon.
And I may well be mistaken here, as I often am, but Burt wasn't Warriors player, was he? At some point? Oh, South, there we go.
Been at the Zebras for a while now, though. South Hobart Youth Player. He's been a couple of seasons in the Zebras Challenge League team and made a few appearances last year. Started to work his way into the lineup. A fielder of some promise is Ortman, who's had one of the best games I can remember him having today. Thrust into a left back role, and he's been really, really solid.
And he's just tipped that one over the top. It's the man in red. Another brilliant work down there on the sidelines.
Do you think Mark the Business Ortman has had probably a better day than our good friend on the bench, though? There's Hay, the two number 10s going at it again. Should be a Warriors throw in off Sunday. 70 minutes gone, and both teams scoring from set pieces. There hasn't been a real dearth in open play chances this game, particularly by NPL TAS standards. See if either team can kick on in the last 20. So the Dwayne pipe takes the throw in back to Fag. This will surely go out to Watman. Ryan doing a bit more defending from the front. Sammy Watman out. Henry Fagg. He's got Sunday in front of him. Elects to go down the line in the direction of Stone Cold Riley Dillon. Chests it down, looking for Sanders. Stevens does enough to clear. Now the Mountain. Out to the substitute Thompson. And Koso's in a good pocket of space. That's a great challenge. Running back. Here's Edwards. Doing his defensive duty, the attacking mid. Gets the ball back. Burt with Scott for company. Plays it first time. The Mountain read it like a book. Scott, the only one on the ground appealing for handball there. Gets a cops a late challenge. Lockie Burt. Scott.
Slice.
There's a slice of cheddar every single day of the week there from Scott, who at this rate I reckon is looking likely the first to get a suspension for accumulative yellow cards.
Almost thought you said a slice of feta there for a second there, Paul, and would be a slice of cheese, but probably the wrong colour. Just mishearing that one, but certainly the right call there from Stratos. Very late. Coming in from, he's almost the 5 o'clock position of the player there, not quite directly behind them, but pretty damn close.
A real mature age cheddar, that one. That was quite late as this one swung in by Dillon. Keeper should deal with it. Always favoured was McDonald. Just looked quite short in the air and plucks that one out easily enough. So we're talking about a real lack of draws in the NPL Tasmania. It's a real statistical outlier if you go back through the history. But Hobart Zebras on the verge of.
I did tip the draw.
One draws.
As that's left a little short, and leg raise there from Sunday nearly clipped the keeper. As the Mountain launches that one in the Ryan direction. He's got in between the two players. Keeper's out. Scott with the keeper not on his line. Can he get a shot in? Elects to go to Nkoso. The keeper's back. Joffrey, king of the handles, can lay it back to Ladich. Jono Ladich, well blocked. Desperate defending all around there from the Zebras. Confusion at the back, and the Warriors nearly made him pay.
He's on the line at the back there, throwing themselves despairingly in front of that shot. Big chance goes begging what the Warriors.
Henry Fagg, I think that was once again. He's just about been the Zebras' best player on the park today. I've been very, very impressed by a player I haven't seen before in action in the NPL. But the game is just starting to open up a little more as the players are starting to become a bit more tired. So despite tipping the draw, you do think that there are goals to come in this game.
Well done by Sammy Watman getting his head out to that one, rushing off his line too. It was an important intervention from the keeper. He was caught out. He really had to come flying off there. Lead with the headers. Edwards launches a raking ball, trying to play in Jaden Hay. Ortman's only dealt with it as far as Walsh chips it back into the mixer. Lucas Hill on hand to clear the danger. And it is going to open up with both teams really pushing hard for the match-winning goal here as it's locked at 1-1 still.
The Dwayne Pipe waiting for options. He's not getting a whole lot to aim for. Tried to aim for Sanders, didn't get enough purchase on it. Falls to Ladich. Look away ball from Mearns. Scott gets it out of his feet well. Lockie Burt tracking back. Now Mearns gets his head up immediately, looking for options. One's Thompson on the far side. Can use his body well. Surely a foul on Thompson. Advantage nearly being allowed to play, but eventually brought back by Stratos. Good piece of refereeing there from the man in the middle.
Yeah, good hold there from Riley Dillon, but didn't quite manage to get the player into the lock there.
Just trying to rip his shirt off, I think, there. Riley Dillon, fairly obvious one, and Jordan Scott, another chance. Send something in. Lucas Hill charging up there, and he and Ryan both at the back post with the undoing on the Warriors' goal. That tall timber causing problems in the air. They've got Harutza. But they don't really have a natural like-for-like man marker. Both of them, as this one's killed in. Lucas Hill puts it wide of the mark. A delightful free kick from Scott, but the Mountain can't quite direct his effort goalward. Have a look on the replay here. Well, if Tony gets out of the way, we will. Lucas Hill just couldn't control it. It was a sharp chance, to be fair to him.
Slice of cheddar back to live play for Jack Ryan, who I don't think has stopped talking since Scott hit that free kick. He has clearly given a bit too much lip to the referee in the past 30 seconds while we were looking at that. And he's got himself in the book, joining his teammate and compatriot Scott. He's the only ones on a slice of cheddar.
Yeah, just a little bit of chat rubbish get banged there from Stratus Plumeritis.
As Sammy Watman launches that one down the wing. Hay, the business comes across to cover. Oh, Dwayne Pipes managed to keep that one in. Stevens didn't want to commit. Walsh heading to the byline. Stevens does well. And keep it in play. Calls for a foul on Stevens, not given. Ladich sets Thompson a task. Stone Cold gets his body in front. Now trying to win the foul is Stone Cold, not given. Thompson.
He didn't need to try and dribble through there. He had a defender back there. He could have easily played a 1-2 or just taken the pressure off with. Turnover in shoes now. Joffrey and Koso. It's running at Jaden Hay. Drinking this way and that. Gets on the left and puts it in. Well defended there again from Fag.
Stratos nearly getting in the way of Mearns there, but Mearns turns away. He's got Lockie Bird all over him. Hay wanted to whack that one clear in the end. Only slots it back to Hurutza. Hits it in the backside of Ladich. And now Olympia will look to recover as predicted. He's getting a little more end-to-end as the game wears on. Certainly not quite as cagey and fair as it was in the first half.
Both teams will be eager for the 3 points at this early stage of the season. Altman knocks it away. Hurutza. The hand of Ladich. Unintentional though. Plays it off for Jordan Scott. Scott down the line for Nkoso. He's had a frustrating game in Nkoso. Can he line it up here at the end though? Centering ball for Scott. He'll shape to shoot. Instead lays it off for Ladich on his non-preferred. Thompson made to work for it. Just has to go back and collect. He's got Kurtz in support and he hits in that direction. Just under hit it. Well read by Nicky Edwards. The winger in his defensive duties here. Can't quite extricate them from the situation just yet. Get some support. Eventually Sunday, McEwen, Riley Dillon turns it over to Thompson. Refag. Can't quite clear the area of the Zebras. It just keeps coming back at them. Jordan Scott now in towards Ryan. Ryan lays it off for Thompson. Thompson looking for a Koso, falls for Scott! And the Warriors retake the lead. Jordan Scott taps home from close range. It's both the Englishmen on the score sheet for the Warriors. And they're 12 minutes away from a big 3 points here.
That was a truly wonderful ball across the face of the goal there, because it is the kind of ball where you simply must make the keeper make a challenge for it. And it's in such a tough position that it's always easy for one to spill it there. Brilliant ball across there from Jakey Thompson, the substitute, making the difference. And a brilliant instinct there from a man playing the pivot position today to crash the box late and tap it home.
It's about the most advanced he's been all day. Jordan Scott, lovely run down the wing from Thompson. Olympia had to start to build over the last 5 minutes. Watman probably had to get a glove on it, and Koso was lurking at the back post, and Scott was there to hit the rebound. 2-1 Warriors with 10 minutes left.
Pushed it back a bit too centrally though, the Kiwi. Left it on the doorstep. Dangerous areas to be leaving that one. As you mentioned, the box-to-box midfielder there just charging in, showing good instincts, and now the Zebras have to chase the game. Away by Lucas Hill. Jaden Hay works it to McEwen. Drop pass there for Edwards, and now Dillon chips it in. McEwen up against Altman, goes to ground. Surely nothing in it though.
Oh, he did raise his arm as if to complain there, was the surprising thing about that. Absolutely nothing in that one.
Just stood up there by Dillon and just minimal contact there. Dillon just looking to try and buy the decision, which I guess after you get one for a little arms around in the box earlier, might be inclined to.
Probably a little more physicality in that first challenge as that goes in the Ryan direction. Brought down well. Can't really foul Walsh too hard there on a slice of cheese. He certainly thought about it. And overall there causes a few of the Bronx cheers to erupt from the Olympia fans.
Francis again, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yep, definitely is.
Yep, do love that man. Always happy to get involved. It's the personalities of the game.
Haven't quite seen him with a meat pie yet today, a la FFA Cup.
It was marvellous, and it was the magic of the Cup. Certainly looking forward to the Lacaseliac Cup getting underway in Tasmania to decide our competitor in the FFA Cup.
These teams drawing NPL opposition, of course. Have a rematch of the Warriors Knights game. I think the third year in a row they're set to clash in the Cup as Nkoso bursts forward and looks to get around the outside of Harutza. Clever squaring ball for Jack Ryan. Took the shot on, had two players riding shotgun. Just a little bit hungry there for mine, the Englishman.
Yeah, just been starved a bit today, as you rightfully say, but he had Thompson overlapping on the right, and I think he had Ladich over there too. Got to say, Joffrey Nkoso is really starting to come into the game, isn't he? His pace is starting to worry the Dwayne Pipe as the game has worn on. Yeah. A little bit tired is the big man.
I wouldn't be surprised to see his number come up here, and indeed it is. He hasn't played a full 90, I don't think, all season. Quite surprising, number 12.
Oh, I love it when that happens. It makes me look more competent than I am, that's for sure.
Big Ben Robertson coming on.
The clock tower making his first appearance for the Zebras this year. Slot in at right back.
Of course, Big Ben. Oh, I like it.
Oh, God. We try to keep up, Jack. This one's worked in the Jack Ryan direction. And they've got some numbers 40 of the Warriors. They might be caught at the back of the Zebras. It's a dangerous ball towards Ladich in there. They whisk it away from him. Jaden Hay now skips around Nick Mearns. Here's Robinson's first chance to get involved, and he didn't use it particularly well. Straight into the head of Scott. Lockie Burt now. Raking diagonal ball, and a good one too. Riley Dillon's in here. Dillon played it in towards Sanders, but it was only Stevens back there. Towed forward again. Will this fall? Is Sanders offside? Surely he was. I thought he'd not quite got back on there, and a good decision from the referee.
I was just having a little chat with Tony Pert about how brilliant his awareness, Sanders, is usually about whether he's onside or offside, but just missing that one, unfortunately. Certainly is one of the better players for knowing positioning of his defenders in the comp.
He's the master of just playing off the last shoulder of the last defender. Best work in the box. He's as lethal a finisher as there is, but hasn't really had the chances today, the Colonel. He's been able to supply him with the ammunition. Of course, still stroked home from the penalty spot when presented with the chance. This one's worked back towards Robinson. Robinson takes it away from Nkoso, who's come on really strong after a really frustrating first hour or so for him. He's really run out this game well. Jordan Scott, very efficient in midfield once again. Harutza. He's the 1-2. And ships it along. Paul Stevens. Clever head up. Now Sanders just bounced over his head up against the mountain. Nick Mearns tracking back. Zoa. Is it forward? Harutza. Warriors sitting in pretty comfortably for the time being. Zebras running out of time to break them down. And they've coughed it up to Thompson here. Just rolls it back to Mearns. Back to Thompson. So a good overlapping run coming on from Kurtz. Hey Kurtz. Thompson. Moving the ball around well up until that point. And eventually they should be able to clear it. They're just lost patience almost. Oh, that was a very dicey ball. Which will work out all right.
How many errors could you count in that 5 seconds of play? There was a few coming in there, just really starting to show the tiredness now, the players out there. Charging over it all around on one of the largest pitches in the state. Probably the largest. Mark Ortman again, imperious with an interception. One's Ladich in a pocket of space. Pass it to Nkoso, whose footwork just absolutely sells Nicky Edwards down the river. Smacked out wide to Riley Dillon. Having to push up a little bit more as the game's going on, now that they're starting to chase. This man, Scott, has been very strong in midfield for the Warriors.
Certainly has, and Paul Stevens Aggressive at the back too. Scott puts his keeper under the pump here. Did him no favours with that one. McDonald does pretty well, just heave it on out of there. That's not what you want as a goalkeeper. As we have another look at this wonderful move here from Joffrey and Koso, one way then the other.
Go get a hot dog, he says, Nicky.
It's been running out this one very nicely indeed, and you can see one of the Warriors faithful so excited about Joffrey and Koso's. This one's into the penalty area, controlling it was McEwen. Jaden Hay buffets off of Scott and then blasts a pass, which is cushioned down in the end. Thompson heads it back to Hay. Hay volleys it, and the keeper gets there ahead of an offside Sanders anyway. Time starting to run out for the Zebras here. Olympia looking to claim a big 3 points.
6 seconds.
And then a few, I'd imagine.
Oh no, to be fair, the free has been paid.
Yeah. I was wondering where you were going with that. McDonald looks in the Nkoso direction. Oh, he's kept that in well, Joffrey Nkoso. Nice bit of techers there from the Olympia winger. Unfortunately, Thompson had gone inside, and his opposite number, Lockie Bird, has space to run into. Finds stone cold Riley Dillon. Back to Burt. Olympia pressing Zebra as well. Now Harutza. And look towards the back post. Sunday and Colonel Sanders waiting. Hill caught one in the face there. Plays allowed to continue. Sunday with the volley. Oh, he's put it in. Sunday McEwen off the bench with an Olympia player down has made it 2-all.
Oh, late drama here. McEwen sneaks in the volley. Look at the celebrations. Rapturous here. Perhaps a moment of controversy. Lucas Hill's asking where the foul was. He's hit the deck and stayed down. Play allowed to continue. And Sunday goes bang with the volley. Let's have a look and see if it was a foul on Lucas Hill at all. Just looks like he might have copped a stray arm there. He's trying to claim it. That's just brilliance from McEwen. What a substitution. And has pulled them back 2-2 with 90 seconds to go.
Well, there is a day of the week named after him, you dare say, because he's capable of brilliant stuff like that. And the protests continue from Olympia. But Stratos Blomaritis is having nothing of it.
I tell you what, they might have a point here now. If he's just been sent off for the blood rule. If he's just been sent off to get some attention.
And a chat is going on now between the linesman and Stratos about the potential of an elbow in the build-up to that goal.
Just remember, no VAR here in the NPL TAS.
Well, the Warriors
McInerney, isn't it?
The Warriors are raising the point. If he's bleeding, then surely he has copped contact, and it must be a foul. But I think the decision's been well and truly made by this point. There's not going to be any reversing it. And Olympia won't be happy with that one at all. Scott arguing the point. Lucas Hill somewhat bemused there. And he's going to be replaced by Jake Vandermeer, I think, because they're not going to waste the seconds it will take for Hill to get right again. So a contentious moment at the death here. And the Zebras pull back an equaliser. It was a stunning hit, but certainly a point of contention in the build-up.
Oh, he's got the ice pack to the face, does the Mountain Lucas Hill. Jake Vandermeer coming on as we tick over into the 90th minute. The referee's board did just go up. Really allotted stoppage time. I'd be curious to know if they have to reset it to allow for the last minute.
The claret is flowing down there on Lucas Hill. He really did cop a whack, so we'll have to have another look at that one.
Is that 5 minutes? It is 5 minutes.
Reigns.
5 minutes of added time.
And we did predict that this would happen, boys. The game opens up a bit as we get towards the end and players are tired. Riley Dillon smacking that one away, but the Warriors will get the throw and look to attack again.
It's Bay Kurtz on the far side. Having to go all the way back to Vandermeer. His first touch finds the chest of Ladich into Ryan. Ryan uses his body well. Doesn't win the free kick and the long ball.
Just slipped there, and it's like Wile E. Coyote going off a cliff there with Jakey Vandermeer. Really did look to be hustling to get to that ball in front of Sanders.
Oh, and Koso's got it now in front of Big Ben. Now it's Mearns. Turns away from one. Both players inside one. It's surely a shirt pull on Mearns, not cold.
Just turned away there, did Stratos. So in a good position to have a look at that one.
Scott, raking ball, looking for Kurtz. It'll sit underneath for Stone Cold. Thompson coming back and doing his defensive duty well. Vandermeer wants to chest that one into Ryan. He's looking for teammates. Scott on one side, Ladich on the other. Eventually crowded out by Zebras. The clock tower clears it as far as Scott. Now Mearns to the king of the handles. Oh, it's surely a shirt grab. Manages to beat them all in Koso. Got Hay for company now. Hasn't got a lot of support from his teammates.
Get into the box, lad. And he tries to, but really well held there by the two Zebras players.
Two to deal with him, and deal with him they did eventually. Koso trying to find the match winner. They thought they had their match winner. Only to be denied by McEwen. Coming off the bench and lashing a volley in, but certainly a contentious one. Lucas Hill seemingly fouled in the build-up to it. Looking at an elbow in the face. Ben Robinson now here is one of the biggest throws in the league. And he's just going to roost this one into the area. Sanders calling for it. He wants it now. And Robinson does heave it in that direction. Cool. It's a good purchase too. Balls to Burst, who directs an effort which is over the top. Calls for a deflection, not heated.
Yeah, he just snatched at that one a little bit, did Lockie Burt, but isn't that a beautiful throw into the box from Big Ben? He got a bit of power behind that. Certainly appeared to surprise Paul Stevens with how much pace he had on it. Pumped down the ground now from McDonald. Ryan competing, but it falls to Mearns. Yonazawa, who has been pretty strong in the midfield today, earns a free kick for the Zebras. We have time for any late drama here.
Yes. 5 minutes were signalled. I'm not sure if that was taking into account the stoppage at the beginning or not, so we could have more beyond that.
Yeah, certainly could go to 96 or so.
Somehow went to 95.5 with 3 minutes in the game before, despite no real stoppages, so we'll wait and see. Sanders cushions this one down, but Nick Mearns was there. Jaden Hay maintains his balance and slides it through for Robinson, and that one's going to be played off him. To touch for the goal kick.
Really looks to have improved his slide tackling this year, Mark Ortman. Certainly a skill that I've seen big improvement on from the lad.
Probably not playing on a more better pitch rather than Warrior Park for slide tackling as well. Might have something to do with it. Anyone sliding at Warrior Park does so at their own peril. And someone's long in the Thompson direction. Flicked on by Hay, falls to Mearns. Mearns goes the nutmeg on Edwards. Tries the little flick ball to Nkoso. Joffrey Nkoso now with a player over on the far side, but he's split the two. Stone Cold charging through the middle. Sanders wanted that ball played through. He just timed his run well. Now it's Scott looking down the line. Thompson will give chase. Does well. The substitute falls to Ladich. Ladich in the box. Jono Ladich names it back to Jack Ryan, and he's put it over the top with probably the last kick of the match. Jack Ryan, he had the chance to win it.
What a chance to put on a platter for him by Jono Ladich, and he can't get his shot on target.
He had that much space, he almost could have taken a touch too. You can't blame him for having a ping straight away, but where was the Zebras' defence on that one?
Just caught out by a good run, and that might just be that. A huge chance squandered for the Warriors. A stunning leveller at the death from McEwen. Full credit to the volley, even if there was somewhat contentious play in the build-up. He absolutely took full advantage of the ball. It was a sweet left-footed volley, and then Ryan declining the chance with just about the final kick of the game to win it. So I sense it'll be a frustrating one, that, for the Warriors. But it ends here 2-2 in a highly entertaining second half. It really came to life, fellas.
Absolutely came to life in the second half. KG within the first half. Both teams wanting to keep possession, but as the game drew on, the larger ground probably got to both teams and started to tire. Some good use of substitutes as well. Thompson played his part in Olympia's goal, and then Sunday with the late equaliser for the Zebras. Both teams on the balance of play, though, draw probably a fair result, Jake.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that, I think, Paul Hunt, today, though I do think that the Olympia Warriors probably performed a bit better than the Zebras today. Looked A bit stronger at the back, I would say, than the Zebras at times, though Henry Fagg had a magnificent game, I think. Overall, yeah, pretty cagey affair for the first 45 and a draw the fair result in the end.
Yeah, both teams will feel they could well have won this one and walk away with a point each. And yeah, draw played out, the second in a row for the Hobart Zebras, and on the league table that will see them maintaining second and third position respectively. The Devonport Strikers sitting on top there, 3 from 3. And these two sides just in behind them. It's all very even at the top. These games between the top few sides have all been closely matched. And there was no separating them here at North Hobart today, as the Hobart Zebras and Olympia Warriors drew 2-all. I'll leave you with the goal highlights and be back, I think, midweek.
That is a brilliant penalty. You've got to give him a bit of credit for that one. That was just beautifully stroked home, and not many goalkeepers saved that one.
I think we'll be back once SSC Riverside's our next one, so join us for that. Until then, it's bye for now. Keeps coming back at them. Jordan Scott now in towards Ryan. Ryan lays it off for Thompson. Thompson looking for a Koso, falls for Scott! And the Warriors retake the lead. Jordan Scott taps home from...
Sunday and Colonel Sanders waiting heel. Caught one in the face there. Plays allowed to continue. Sunday with the volley. Oh, he's put it in. Sunday McKeown off the bench with an Olympia player down has made it 2-all.
Oh,
Sunday